there's a point where you're just like, I don't even really have a reaction anymore. Now, you guys got to understand something. I'm a Dodger hater, so that also is why I wouldn't have any reaction. I'm a Padre fan, so with that well established on the show, but I don't even have a reaction anymore. I'm like, what do you want me to feel? What do you want me to feel? The biggest pitcher this offseason was Blake Snell. He's a Dodger. He's a two-time Cy Young Award winner. Okay, maybe he wasn't the cream of the, maybe he wasn't the best. Okay, what is he? The second best? I would argue he's the best of all the free agents that were out there. Okay, you put him wherever you want. Where did Blake Snell go? Okay. The biggest bullpen name this offseason is Tanner Scott, or one of the biggest. Where did he go? To the Dodgers. The biggest prospect / phenom coming out of Japan that everybody's been talking about for a year, where did he go? Went to the Dodgers. The Dodgers next year are going to have a rotation that includes Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki, maybe Tony Gonsolin, maybe Clayton Kershaw, maybe Dustin May, maybe Bobby Miller, just some of those guys that have had some injury issues. You know, there's going to certainly be a few of those guys that come. They re-signed Teoscar Hernandez. They re-signed Blake Trinan, Tommy Edman. They already have the most talent of any team out there in baseball. I don't know what, I don't have a reaction anymore to this. I don't. Now a lot of the articles are starting to churn. And the articles around the Dodgers, I'll give you guys my opinion on this as well. A lot of the conversation around the Dodgers is like, well, what the fuck? Like, how is this? How are you walking into a season where there's one team this far and above beyond everybody else? You know, I don't have a problem per se with what the Dodgers are doing. I think if the Dodgers are able to do it, they're playing within the rules, then you can't really be mad at the Dodgers. I could be upset that they're running circles around everybody. I could be upset that they're playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers, but that doesn't matter. If you're a franchise, let me tell you one of the biggest compliments you can get as a franchise. If everyone hates you, you're doing something right. Everyone hated the Patriots. Everyone did. Why? Because they were winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl, or they were in the Super Bowl every single year. Maybe there's a little bit of that starting to happen with Patrick Mahomes. When they win a playoff game, there's now all these clips of like, hey, look, here's another penalty that should have been called, but it wasn't called. They weren't doing that year one when Mahomes was getting to the Super Bowl. They did that after more and more success. The Yankees was always a franchise everyone loved to hate. Why? Because they were good, because they were great, because they were winning every single year. The greatest compliment you can get as a franchise and an organization is when everyone's talking about you and when everyone hates you. That means you're doing something right. So I don't have per se an issue with what the Dodgers are doing. They're spending their own money. They're obviously have found ways to generate revenue in different ways. Dodger fans are coming out, and you got 50,000+ fans a night over at Dodger Stadium, which is, you know, creating incredible revenue. When Shohei Ohtani decided to come to the Dodgers, it changed the entire business model for the Dodgers. Imagine having FU money. That's what the Dodgers have. They have FU money. But they also have a really smart organization that still pays attention to their farm system. And, you know, for all I know, Freddie Freeman didn't have to choose the Dodgers. The Atlanta Braves could have kept him. The Dodgers got him. The Boston Red Sox may have made one of the dumbest trades I've ever seen in the history of baseball by trading Mookie Betts to the Dodgers. Teoscar Hernandez, well, anyone could have went out there last year and tried to get Teoscar Hernandez. Don't get me wrong. They throw their weight around. They throw their money around. But at the end of the day, what they're doing is within the rules. So what the hell am I supposed to, like what? Getting upset at the Dodgers, I don't think means anything. And I think where that energy needs to go, here's the question, and I don't think Dodger fans will ever answer this fairly. I think most of them won't. I think most of them won't because they're going to say, well, you're just hating. Okay, that's fine. But I think there'll probably be a few Dodger fans that will also say, okay, let's just look at the scope of what's going on here. And I listen, these big market teams have an advantage. There was some quotes here. The Chicago Cubs owner, Tim Ricketts, he says he admits that it's really hard to compete with the splashy spending of the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees. Talking about the big markets, but the Dodgers have taken this to a completely different level. And the Mets, to be honest with you, with Brian Cohen, no, yeah, doesn't it? I forget the name of the Mets owner off the top of my head. But I forget his name. Anyways, what I think that the thing to pay, most attention to when you start looking at Major League Baseball, and this is my beef with Major League Baseball. Can we, in some shape, way, or form, create a system where at least everyone's got, sort of equal ground? In the NBA, the Lakers are always going to have their advantages because they're in LA. The New York Knicks, you're going to imagine, have their advantages because they're in New York. But everyone's got a shot. Everyone's kind of playing within the same boundaries and the same rules. The Knicks have competitive advantages because of their market. They have competitive advantages because of the marketing and all that stuff. The Knicks have been shit for years. It came down to ownership. The Dodgers have great ownership. In the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs can go out there and they can win Steve Cohen. That's I just remembered right now, Steve Cohen. The Chiefs can go out there and they can compete for a championship. The Eagles can compete for a championship. You pick in the NFL, the Lions can compete for a champion. That's what you want. You just want, at least when the dust settles, you're just looking for, can we have a system where everyone's kind of playing within the same rules? Baseball does not have those same rules. And this isn't a San Diego problem, or this isn't a, Rockies problem. This isn't and I'm not telling you that more owners can't go out there and spend more money, because I think that's a fair argument to make as well. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think you can have an honest conversation and you could say about Major League Baseball that everyone's got an equal shot. I don't think you can say that. I will tell you the Dodgers are outsmarting a lot of these other franchises. And even if the Dodgers, let's just say there was a salary cap in baseball. Let's just pretend for a second. There's a salary cap in baseball, and every team has, I'm going to just give an even number. Every team's got to spend between 150 and 200. The floor is 150. The ceiling is 200. You know what would happen every year with the Dodgers? They would still be incredibly good, competing every single year, a threat to win the NL West, and a chance at a World Series. I still think they would be. Why? Because they're smart with the money they spend, the farm system that they have. There's a lot of, strengths that the Dodgers, we don't talk enough about with the Dodgers. But does somebody want to tell me, walking into the 2025 season, how you can really look at Major League Baseball and say, you know what? All these teams got a shot. The one thing that the Dodgers are able to do, you're not guaranteed a World Series, but I'll tell you what they're guaranteed to do. They're almost virtually guaranteed the NL West every year. Almost virtually guaranteed the NL West. Every single year they're guaranteed the NL West, which means you're going to have a bye, which means you don't have to play in the wild card round, which means you're going to have your starters set up for that 5-game set that you have. That's what they can guarantee themselves. Again, I'm not trying to take credit away from the Dodgers. What I'm trying to say is, can we just be honest with each other and just look at the scope of baseball and just say, well, how the hell do you compete with that? Or even some of these other teams that are spending like crazy or whatever the case is. It's not, okay, let's say you have 5 teams spending like crazy. then how do the other 25 build? Are you going to have teams like the Nationals come out of nowhere? Sure, that can happen. Are you going to have teams like the Arizona Diamondbacks get to the World Series? Sure, absolutely that can happen. But is that what you're hoping for, is just like a Hail Mary for a team? I don't know. That to me is the way I kind of looked at this past weekend. I got almost no energy left. It's almost just comical now what's happening in baseball and what's happening. The Dodgers are taking full advantage within the rules. But from a baseball perspective, don't you want each city walking in saying, hey, if we run a good organization, we got a legit shot to win a World Series? I don't think that's the case. All right, let me look at some of the comments here. By the way, I haven't looked at one comment yet. I haven't looked at one. I'm curious. Will people be reasonable in the chat, or are they just going to say I'm hating? Doesn't matter either way. Let's take a look at it. Mark, if you go watch one of my videos I had on Friday, I was critical of the Padres. I talked about how they didn't have their shit together, that I understand that Roki chose a different team to go to. I talked about how the ownership group from the Padres, once Peter Seidler passed away, this, lawsuit that they got going on, that situation, I was very critical about them. Brother, this isn't a Padres conversation. I'm just having a conversation about basically being, if you're looking at the league, are you saying, is this a fair fight? That's all. I will be more than critical about the Padres. I'll tell you exactly how critical I am. They've never won a World Series before. They've had basically a couple splashes in franchise history. They've been around since 1969. They've had poor ownership. What else? They got some of the worst contracts in all of baseball right now. They do. Xander Bogaerts has to be the worst contract in baseball. I could be very, very critical about the team I root for. I don't have a problem with that. But what I like doing is also having a conversation, especially on this chat, that we can have a conversation of like, okay, hey, does this make sense? Does it not make sense? All that stuff. So and listen, I don't mind the comments. I don't care. If somebody, the best shit talking, let me tell you the best shit talking is when you win. And the team I root for didn't win. So I have no shit talking. And even if they did win, I probably wouldn't shit talk. That's the Padres and the Dodgers, you face each other in the playoffs 3 of the last 5 years. Padres had an incredible advantage. They might not have that, opportunity again. They're up 2-1. They got a game at home at Petco Park. Being a Padre fan, shit like that doesn't happen very often. And if you don't take advantage of that opportunity, it might go away. All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.